everybody, welcome back to the channel, Faccis Cinema. Appreciate you guys coming and spending a little time with me today. I am very excited. I'm going back to the Faccmonster Cafe where I bring in another content creator like I did the past 2 episodes, and I'm really digging this aspect of the channel. Definitely took some inspiration from my guests today. They've been doing this way longer than I have, bringing guests on and getting to know them. But I was on their channel the other day, and me and Ken, my first horror movie will be coming out soon on their channel. So I am talking about Sledgehammer Horror, my friends Ken and Ashley. Let's welcome them to the cafe.
Hi.
There they are. How are you guys doing today on this fine Sunday afternoon?
We're doing good.
Rainy Sunday.
Yeah.
Nowhere else we'd rather be than right here, right now.
Absolutely.
It's not raining here, but if it's raining where you guys are, it'll be raining here probably by the end of tonight, I'd imagine.
Probably, yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah. So like I said, you guys kind of inspired me to start something on the channel similar to what you guys do with your first horror movie. I thought, why not bring people on, interact, get to know them a little deeper than I would normally. Maybe go outside my comfort zone, get people that I have no idea who they are, never even met them before, and just bring them on and get to know them. But I know who you guys are. We just did a stream last week, so it's a little different. But I had to have you guys on in one of my first couple episodes. So I figured, why the hell not ask? And I know you guys are always down and willing to help out the horror community.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime we get to work with any of the content creators that we respect and admire, it's an amazing time. So we're genuinely very excited to be here today.
I greatly appreciate that, guys. Well, first off and foremost, what made you guys want to start a horror YouTube channel? Was it originally both of you together's idea, or was it more of one or the other's? How did that all come to be?
You gonna answer?
Okay. I was annoying my wife.
Well, it was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was kind of where we really like started something.
The concept of my first horror movie is something I've done my whole life. I grew up in my parents owned a video store, and horror movies is something that's always been super special to me. So, hanging out by the fire, just talking about people's first horror movies,
really,
what it meant to them.
To us, like, that's something that even like when we first met, like something we connected on was, like horror movies, because we don't have a whole lot in common.
Right. I've been with my wife for 18 years. And the first movie our first date was to go see War of the Worlds. So, our life literally started together with horror. And, during the pandemic, Ashley was like, "You need to find something to fucking do.
Can you go away?
Yeah, can you not get my ass all the time?" And I started doing Sledgehammer Horror, and it started with just my first horror movie. And then Ashley was coming at me with all these different ideas. The Didn't See That Coming idea was Ashley's. The Versus idea was Ashley's. The new In Defense Of that we just started doing was Ashley's idea. And I was like, you know what? I'll do these, but you have to do them with me. You have to come on screen and be on screen with me, not just behind the scenes. Yeah.
And at first I was like, I'm not doing that. Like I was very uncomfortable for a long time being in front of a camera. Like, I'm more of like the introvert. Like, I want to be behind scenes. Like, I'll help you set up. I'll do whatever, but I don't want to be in front of the camera. And like, he just kind of coaxed me into doing it.
Yeah.
And
so even though like it was just me doing my first horror movie on the channel for like the first couple months, she had so much to do with, the background decorating, the writing, like all that stuff is Ashley. Like, I'm the one that is like in front of the camera. I'm like the front man of the band. I've always liked that attention, like being in front. But she's an amazing writer. Every episode that we have of Didn't See That Coming or Versus, she completely writes those episodes. We actually just released one on Sinister, which is one of my absolute favorite things that's ever happened on our channel. And there's a moment where I'm reading the script and I'm literally like Ron Burgundy from Anchorman, because she put a joke in there that I wasn't supposed to read, and I read it and I left it in the episode. Like, I totally left it. It's like
you were supposed to read it. It didn't click what you were reading.
Yeah. And so I'm not gonna tell you guys what it is, but go watch the episode and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But I literally start laughing like during the it's like an intake of an outtake. I left it in the episode. It like if you watch this, and you'll know exactly what part it is when you see it.
Because it just takes him a minute, and then he realizes what he just read, and
I just start laughing.
He's like, I wonder who wrote this.
Yeah. So like it's just like she does those things, like she puts things in the script that I just think are so brilliant and so funny. And that's why I wanted to leave that in there. Like we were gonna put it in like a blooper reel, but I was like, no, I need to leave this in the episode.
Straight up.
It's genuine. You know, like it's a real genuine moment. And I really did laugh at this moment. Like when you see me laughing in that episode, that's not staged, that's not the actor part of me. That's the real legit Ken Sledge laughing at how funny his wife is. Because you know, it's exactly what she said while we were watching the movie and while she was writing her script, and I was, getting timestamps for the clips and everything. She made this joke, so when I read it, I was just like, "Oh my god, she actually put that in there." And,
heck yeah, I did.
It was one of those things where I've always been so quick to. One of the things that started happening when Ashley first actually joined the front part of the channel, not just the behind the scenes, where people were like, "Oh, your wife had to join." I'm like, if you guys only knew how much it took for me to make her join, none of you would say that. Like that's why I love the fact that her writing comes out so great and people are starting to realize that she really is the backbone. Like I'm just the face that goes, and luckily I can read, or else I'd be completely useless in this endeavor.
Oh, whatever. That's not true. It's a shared.
Yeah.
It really is. It's shared.
Well, good. I mean, the first date that me and my wife went on was a horror movie as well. I took her to see The Omen, and she isn't really a big horror fan, and I mean, she really still isn't. She'll watch them because I want to watch them, but she doesn't really care to watch like I do. But the fact that she was first date willing to go see a horror movie with me,
right,
it really meant something to me that she was willing to, go out of her comfort zone to,
snatch her up then.
Yeah. I don't know if The Omen was the greatest movie to take her to about a devil kid, but
right.
It's history now because that was back in 2006, and obviously we're still married now, so we've been together for a long time. So obviously, it meant something.
If ever anybody out there, if you're looking to make a relationship last, meet someone, take them on the first date to a horror movie, you're in. You're in.
It works every time, I guess.
Yeah, 60% of the time, it works every time.
Exactly. So, Anchorman right there. It does 100%. Sex Panther. It works 60% of the time.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Every time. I also started this during the pandemic as well. I know there was nothing else to do. I mean, you couldn't go out, couldn't do anything. So I was like, watching a lot of YouTube, watching a lot of other content creators, and I was like, why not just give it a shot? Even if I suck, if I'm the worst content creator there is, at least I tried. I did it for a little bit and was like, I don't want to do it anymore. Or it could take off. You could meet a lot of amazing people, which I have over these past going on, I think, 4 years. So it's definitely been an experience that I would not have passed up. I definitely would have done it all the same if I maybe tried to be a little bit better. Obviously, when I first started, I was really, really bad. And I mean, it's kind of.
I think that's everybody. You look back on some of your stuff, and it's just like you cringe a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what was this?
Even it's funny because I feel like Ashley and I are extremely successful with what we're doing with this, and I don't mean monetarily or views or anything like that, but the amount of friends that we've made.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I have people that I've met because of Sledgehammer Horror that I talk to every single day. So the things that matter the most to Ashley and I, friendship, people around us, positive vibes, the things that really mean something to us.
Yeah.
Sledgehammer Horror has been so successful.
Absolutely. The horror community is the best community out there.
Yes.
I the people that you meet, they're always so welcoming, and even if you don't agree with them, they still will listen to what
having a healthy debate with horror,
and they don't I mean there's a few that are like that.
Everyone has their douchebag gate,
but most of the time people listen to your point of view, and even if they don't agree with it, they're still really respectful. So it's
definitely
awesome.
Definitely agree. I would agree with that. That has definitely probably been the best part about this. Honestly, I met one of my best friends. We've never obviously met in real life because he lives in California, but I met him through doing YouTube, and we literally talk every day, always checking in on each other, seeing how we're doing. And I think that's just amazing that just by starting a YouTube channel, you can meet people that you're going to be friends with for the rest of your life, or hopefully the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's a great experience, and I'm so glad that I took the risk. I'm so glad that you guys dove in and do what you guys are doing. It's just, the horror community is great. Like you said, worked with a ton of people, and honestly, none of them have been bad. I mean, of course, everybody has their moments where they take it a little bit too far, maybe once in a while, but you know, that's just how it goes sometimes.
We've had literally one bad experience in the horror community. I'm not going to shed a lot of light on that situation again because it's been dead and buried for a long time. There's no reason to bring it all back up. But if you look at my first horror movie, there's definitely an episode missing. Yeah. Because we deleted that episode because the person that was being interviewed was a very bad person that did some very bad things. So we just completely erased the episode and erased any mention of him on the channel. So.
Just didn't want to be associated with him.
Yeah, we didn't want that name associated with us at all. And it's not about getting canceled or nothing like that. It was just about what's right and what's wrong. And for me and Ashley ourselves, like what we feel is right and wrong in our lives, and that it was wrong for us to continue to promote anything that person had anything to do with. So besides that, it is so fucking awesome being a part of this world. Like, it is. You know, the people that we've met, the people that we've been able to, you know, even meet in person.
Yeah. I mean, we usually take a vacation every summer and we try to go different places. And, you know, if people live there, we're like, like we've met a lot of cool people.
We went to California, like you were talking about, because we're in the Midwest, you know, we're not too far away from you. And we went out there because we wanted to go see the Myers house. We wanted to go see the house from the movie House, you know, which is my favorite horror movie.
Yeah.
And we met our friend Michael Colomb while we were out there, and we got to spend a day with him. And it's just like whenever we travel, you know, we get to meet people that we've done episodes with, or you know, we've been guests with, and it's always like such a great experience.
Yeah, we went to Salem last year, and we got to meet Mika and Kira.
We went to Salem, met Mika and Kira, the double feature podcast,
and they are the sweetest people ever.
Yeah, and then there's like just amazing. Oh, speaking of amazing people. In person Nick. Every weekend on the DL. Nick,
you ruined it now.
I was meaning to actually. I gotta call you tonight, Nick, because we got to talk about having you on another episode here soon. Because I got something special planned for you. Or we could just talk about it next weekend during our meetup. But and people like Nick, you know, and Justin, Ryan, 1988. Like these dudes are like two of my best friends. Like you know, we'll text each other once or twice a week. Like, yo, bro, how you doing? Just want to say I love you. Hope everything's going great for you. You know, like, so like, and it's genuine friendships with these people that we've made. You know, it's not just like, hey, let's do an episode together. All right, cool. Talk to you soon, and then never talk to each other again. Yeah, you know, we're constantly in contact with each other, and always, you know, being a special part of these people's lives, just like they're a special part of ours, is so cool, man. Super dope.
Yeah,
it really is. That brings me up to my next question, but you kind of already answered it. I was going to ask you guys what your favorite horror movie is of all time, but Ken, you kind of already said what it was.
Mine's House.
Mine is actually People Under the Stairs. Yeah, I love that movie. It scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And I love a horror movie with a message. So, yeah.
It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, and Daddy and our sister and brother, whatever you want to call them, they're freaking terrifying.
So bad.
And the kids under the stairs, like they scared me. Oh, it's such a good movie. I'm excited to see the remake.
If we ever get this reboot.
If we ever get the reboot.
Well, I've never seen the original, so that's
brother, you got
on my watch list.
It's one of Wes Craven's best.
It really is.
Will you grab it?
Yeah.
And
one of Wes Craven's best films, man. And I'm a huge Fred head. But dude, like this movie right here, it's so good. Mommy and Daddy, they are so good. Everett McGill, who is in Silver Bullet,
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's terrifying.
He's terrifying.
Yeah. Sean Whalen is in it. Ving Rhames is in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a star-studded cast, and it's a scary movie, man. Like it's a traumatizing, scary movie.
It is very traumatizing.
I don't know why I never watched it. I saw it. I know I've heard of it. I just never have watched it.
Yeah, I cannot recommend that one enough.
Yeah, definitely give that one a chance.
And yours, Ken, House. I don't want to break your heart, but I didn't like it. I watched it one time and I was like, I'm not watching that again. I'm sorry.
I feel like we're driving through a tunnel and we're losing connection.
We're losing connection.
I don't know if I didn't. I don't know if I just.
It's so funny.
No, the thing for me is like, because there's movies out there that like people absolutely adore that I'm not sold on. And that's the best part of this, because if all of us agreed on everything, there'd be no reason for any of us to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty boring conversation.
And I love the movie, but it's not like, it's not like it's one of my kids. It's not like you're like, hey, Ken.
It isn't?
Little Kenny, he's a dick. I hate that kid. Then I'd be like, whoa, bro, let's chill out. He's 14. But I do love this movie, and I think that it's special to me because it was my first horror movie.
Makes sense.
And it was, it was that gateway for me, and I still watch it. And there's still so many parts of this movie that are just like so, like the part where he takes the washcloth off the painting and you see his son in that mirror. That part scares me even to this day. That's such a terrifying moment.
Yeah.
And
he crams that movie down all of our throats.
I do. I watch that movie I still watch it like 6 or 7 times a year.
I'm like on the fence. Like, it's all right, but
that's not what you told me last night.
It's just a liar.
I never told you that.
It's just one of those movies. Like I said, I've seen better movies. But just because of what it did for me, who it turned me into, my grandmother, who showed it to me for the first time when I was young, her and I would literally play house. Like, we would go and we'd stand by the closet, and I'd be like, we'll open it at exactly 12 o'clock. And then we'd open it and act like the monsters were coming out and we were fighting the monsters. And I think that's a huge part of why it remains so special to me, because of everything personally that it brought me. Me and my grandmother, the relationship that we still talk about this movie to this day. It's just it's a movie that will always be top-notch special for me.
Well, literally, when we went to California and went and seen the house, he FaceTimed her so she could see
I FaceTimed her. I did.
She was so excited.
Yeah, I was misty-eyed at a house. You know what I mean? Like, how special this is to me. And I think I'm on FaceTime with my grandma, and she's she's absolutely stoked on it. And
we're all geeked, and our kids are like, "Can we go?
It's a house.
It's hot out here.
It's a house. Yeah, and I'll throw you in the goddamn mirror if you keep talking." But yeah, it's just like I said, a lot of these movies, I feel like, because of what they did for me on a personal level at such a young age, that's why it still means so much to me today. If I had to choose one that wasn't House, I would say the best made horror film of all time is either Psycho or Nightmare on Elm Street. If you take out the endings, I think the endings to both of those films are completely weak.
You don't like the blow up mom doll?
No, fuck that thing.
Suck through the window.
Yeah. You know what? I can deal with car? That. I hate the Freddy car more than I hate the mom. I hate that Freddy car.
He does.
But newer movies, I really, really dig Cabin in the Woods. I think Cabin in the Woods
is a good one.
Is so good. The Dark and the Wicked.
I knew that one.
I think that's so good.
Yeah.
There was a new movie, and I strongly recommend, if you haven't seen it, or anybody in the chat. We can't see the chat, unfortunately. We're on our phone. But if anybody in the chat hasn't seen it, it's called The Harbinger. It was released last year.
That was terrifying.
Now, there was 2 Harbingers released last year. One of them has Madeline McGraw from The Black Phone. Yeah. And it's not that one. No. That's still a good film, but it's not that one.
It's got the old doctor.
Yeah, the
plague doctor.
The plague doctor.
On
the cover, the blue cover with the plague doctor.
Yeah.
Ashley and I were sent a screener to this film, and I was like, yeah, we'll give it a shot.
It psychologically messes with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of those.
And we watched it, and that night we were doing our top 10 films of 2022, and I literally had to rewrite my list because that went up to number 3.
It did.
That's how good that movie. And it's one of those movies that you could tell that the filmmakers, Andy Mitten, who's an amazing writer, amazing director. We had the opportunity to talk with him after the film. He went into this what can be scarier than death?
Yeah.
What can a monster do that's scarier than killing you? And this is what he came up with, and he
touches on all the trauma and stuff from the pandemic and the things that people went through, and it's just all of that combined. It's just it's psychological. It's a psychological movie. It definitely is a pandemic film, but not in a pandering way, not in a that is the backseat. Yeah.
It's a very important part of the story. He didn't just write that into the story to be well, how can I make money off of what's happening in the world right now? Yeah. It takes a backseat to the story, but it does enhance what you're going through during the film. So The Harbinger 2022, a film that broke my heart at the end. Scared me throughout. Great practical effects.
Too. The entire time, it's very eerie.
I like horror films that don't have a lot of jump scares. I feel like it's scarier if you're constantly building that anticipation without the break of the jump scare. And The Harbinger is very good, much like The Dark and the Wicked, much like The Strangers.
I love a good jump scare if it if it's played out right and it gets me like I like the build up of the anxiety, and then when you get the break of the jump scare, like I like that. That's why I like haunted houses. He doesn't.
I don't do them.
No.
I don't go to haunted houses.
Like I love them. Like I love that feeling of fear. I don't know.
I literally was looking at a guy the last time I went to a haunted house. I was like, I see you.
Don't jump.
Do not jump at me. Yes, that's exactly it. I'm like,
he's always
punch you.
But you're the one that always gets like surrounded because
I know
of how you act.
I know, but so then I try to play it cool, and they still come to me. Like I'm not even scared.
It's like the person that doesn't like the animals, and the animals always come to them. That's
me with haunted houses. Yes. I was literally telling the guy, I was like, bro, listen.
Don't.
Eye contact. We've made it. Your job is done. But and he just came in. I was like, dude, we just had this conversation.
I just saw you.
It's different in my head than how you just made it sound.
We got super chat from Stepper. All right, thank you. Says see you Thursday. Love you guys.
Love you too. We'll see you Thursday.
Thank you. J Dev, what's going on? Even though I'm canceled, that's totally fine.
You didn't like it? You needed to call me when we're done with this and explain to me why you didn't like it, sir. I'm not like being a jerk.
I need this explanation.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not being an ass. Like I'm genuinely curious as to what it was about it you didn't like. Yeah, I'm not like, you call me, you son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
I'm gonna switch that. You're gonna like this.
Yeah. I'm gonna pitch you when you call me.
That's the thing, like you said, it's good that we all don't like the same things, because then it would just be really, really boring, and we'd pretty much just all be like yes men and women. Oh, you like Scream? Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. I mean, it is the best, but if you don't like it, you're an asshole. But it's fine. Good for you.
It's just like you were saying, like art, is subjective, and it's not going to be for everybody. If somebody's creating art, I genuinely really, really hope there's a crowd out there for it. I hope that people love a movie that's being made. I would never
actually like Exorcist too. Like there's people that like that.
I don't even know about that.
Crazy, right?
I just hope that it doesn't matter. Not even just movies, whether it's painting, poetry, music, any type of art. If it's being created, I hope there's an audience for it. To me, there's nothing sadder than unloved art. Like that's no matter what, it's come from your heart to your mouth or your fingers or your eyes, and you're putting it out there to the world. I hope there's someone out there that it touches.
Absolutely.
That's a good point. And J-Dev Scream 2 it's good. It's good. It is good. I know you're riding the Scream 2 train. I get it. I get it. It's good. It's just a little boring in the middle for me. That's all. Just a little boring in the middle.
See, J-Dev to me is like that guy. We were talking earlier about people that we met on here that we're genuinely friends with. Me and J-Dev will text each other. We'll talk to each other about WWE events. And
he just cracks me up. He's like, I'm gonna go on this live and just tell everyone that Scream 2 is the best,
like
and then dip out. Like, bye. I said my words.
He's one of those guys that, like, if I could put my soul in a bottle and find someone that I know I could trust with it, J-Dev would be one of those people that I'd be like, dude, you got it. I know that I can trust you. You have my heart and soul, dude. So if you're still here, J-Dev, love you. Thank you. You really are a great person.
It's the best kind. The best kind.
Absolutely.
I think I might know which way this is going to go. What are your guys' favorite horror franchises? I think I know where you're going to go, Ken.
I'm sure you probably know. Mine's Halloween. And we argue about this all the time because he always has something negative to say about it.
What?
And he's not a Halloween fan. And
really?
Oh, Child's Play.
I was wrong.
Well, what were you thinking?
I thought you were gonna say Nightmare.
Nightmare's up there. I would actually say my top three, it would be Child's Play, and then my second would actually be Evil Dead. Before the release of Evil Dead Rise, I can't speak to that one yet because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And then number three actually would be Scream. I still think Scream is a very, very solid franchise. Nightmare, I think quality-wise, there's a lot better Nightmare films, but the bad ones in the franchise are really, really bad.
Yeah.
They are.
The Dream Child is up there for one of not the worst films ever, but one of my least favorites of all time.
I agree.
Freddy's Dead is complete garbage. It's special to me. So I will never put that at the bottom of my rankings of anything because my uncle, who is essentially the guy that raised me, He took me and my cousins to see Freddy's Dead in the theater in 3D. And so, like, even though the movie's bad, when I'm a little boy and I'm watching it, I'm seeing Freddy play with the glove, the power glove. And like, that was cool as shit to me. This is your brain on drugs. That was funny to me as a little boy. Obviously, the audience it was targeted for. That's what Freddy's Dead. They knew what they wanted to do. They wanted to target a younger audience. That's what they were going for.
Yeah.
They wanted the child killer to appeal to a younger audience.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, he did though. Like,
he did.
Everybody loves Freddy, even kids, and he kills kids.
Yeah. But yeah, when it comes to just like what the franchise means to me, and if Seed of Chucky is the worst film in your franchise, holy shit, you've done so many good things.
Yeah.
And I like Seed of Chucky. I'm not anti Seed of Chucky. We just released our In Defensive episode with Celise. And like, I think it's the worst in the franchise, and that's not a knock at Seed of Chucky. That's just how great every other film in the franchise is. So and it's always reinventing itself. It's always trying to, Child's Play, you can say whatever you want about it. It never gets stale. They're always trying something different. They're never copying and pasting from the last film.
True.
And there's other franchise. I love Friday the 13th, but again, I'm not a huge fan of Manhattan or Jason X. I know that Jason X has its cult following, and I respect it. Not for me. I hate that movie.
Me too.
I'm not a huge Halloween guy.
Whatever.
I'm sorry. I think 3 is dynamite. H2O is close to perfect.
Halloween Resurrection. I freaking love Halloween Resurrection.
I like Halloween Resurrection.
Like, and there's so many people that hate that movie, but
that movie gets a bad rep, man.
I'm gonna defend it.
Yeah, we're actually doing an episode on that.
It's got a special place for me too. When you, even if the movie is bad, like you think about like where you were and like the feelings you felt.
Wasn't that
like
the first one that you seen in the theater?
Yeah, that's the first one I seen in the theater.
Me too.
And not just that, but like with Halloween Resurrection, there's never been a time that I've thrown that movie on and I've been bored.
It's fun
while watching it.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's totally a fun. I know, J-Dev. I know you love it, dude. I'm sorry.
Oh.
But yeah, with Resurrection, I have fun. Like, there are movies in the Halloween franchise that I think Halloween 6 is dog shit. I hate that movie.
Oh,
wow.
I don't hate it. I love it.
I hate it with passion.
The only ones that I don't care for are, well, the second one that Rob Zombie made. I'm okay with the first one. The second one, I'm just like,
The second Rob Zombie's Halloween, which is what me and Nicholas have to talk about. It's Jason Myers. They really tried to make Michael more of Jason Voorhees in that film.
And it's just
doesn't work.
Rob Zombie-ish.
Like, yes.
He had full reins with that one. You can tell.
Oh, you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would watch. This is gonna give me a lot of shit. I'd rather watch Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 than Halloween 6 or the OG Halloween 2. I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 better than the OG Halloween 2.
No.
I'm dead serious.
Oh my.
Dead serious.
No.
I don't know.
I
feel about
the OG
more.
Halloween 2 is. Listen, you said you don't really know how you feel about House, so I'm cutting deep now. I like I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 better than Halloween 1978.
I said House was in.
No, but...
Okay.
I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 more than Halloween 78.
All right. I'm pulling up the divorce papers.
That's definitely canceled. But that's
yeah.
I'm pulling them up. You already got them on your phone.
Can you type here and here, please?
God.
Yeah, and I think that there's other great Saw. I think is an actual a super underrated franchise. It has weak ones in it.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's it's pretty consistent. I mean, there's franchises like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Children of the Corn, Leprechaun that I just think are so bad.
Most of there's more bad than there is good in those franchises for sure.
Agreed.
And like Leprechaun, I hate those movies. There's not the very last one. I think is the only one that I was really like, yeah, this is a good movie.
Leppy.
But I love the Leprechaun character. I think and people are like, you don't like Leprechaun? I love Leprechaun. I think Leprechaun's awesome. I think he's fantastic. He's the only good thing about those films.
Yes.
Only the standout moment is Warwick Davis.
Leppy and his one-liners.
Yeah.
Love them.
Leppy got to glow up.
He did glow up.
But yeah, I don't like that franchise. Children of the Corn is oh my gosh.
There's some good ones.
That's a chore to get through.
There's so many.
Not all of them are bad.
And the same thing with Hellraiser. Like the first 3 Hellraisers, I think are so good.
I'm not a Hellraiser fan.
I think the second one's the best one in the franchise. I think the second Hellraiser is just it's that good to me.
I can't get into Hellraiser.
So confusing. There's just so much going on.
I didn't like the newest one. I wanted to.
I wanted to too. I was trying to give it
so
a chance,
bad.
But
and again, I know it has a huge audience of people that love it.
It does.
That's amazing. I hope that they can continue the franchise. I would love to see, just because I didn't like one film. I don't like Jason X. I love that franchise. I don't like The Dream Child. I adore that franchise. I would never want them to stop making a franchise, just because I didn't like a film. Maybe the next one will come out. And
Ken Sledge doesn't like this.
Yeah,
Cut it out. We're done.
Yeah,
you're the the ending reason.
Yeah. But I don't think the world revolves around me or anything. Don't worry, guys. You don't have to stop the franchise. You can keep going.
Yeah.
That's how narcissistic I am.
You're gaslighting them.
That's the thing. Like, they keep coming out with more Halloweens, obviously, Screams, whatever, and people are like, "No, let him die, let him die." I'm on the camp where let him keep going. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you want these things that were from your childhood? You have so much nostalgia for. Why do you ever want them to go away? Even if they make some stinkers along the way, they're eventually going to come back around and make a banger again. So just stick with it.
I mean, look at Child's Play. A lot of people didn't like Bride. A lot of people didn't like Seed. I know.
Bride's my favorite.
I know, but it's 3. A lot of people didn't like 3, and that's my favorite.
Yeah, 3's good.
Yeah, and then you get Curse, and people watch Curse, and they were like, "Damn, this is dark and heavy."
Yeah.
And then they get Cult, and people are like, "Oh, we're back to this again." And then you get season 1 of Chucky, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, you guys, they're back, they're doing it." Then you get season 2 of Chucky, and you're like,
"Oh, they're doing this again."
So I'm super stoked to see where they go in season 3 of Chucky.
Maybe it'll be like number 3 of Child's Play. Like,
my favorite.
Yeah.
Maybe
they're at a boot camp.
Yeah, they'll go to a boot camp.
Yep.
Because they're naughty.
They're naughty kids.
They're bad. It's Chucky's fine. I'd say my number 1's Halloween. But recently, my favorite movie of all time was Halloween '78. But I'm kind of contemplating now. I've been rewatching Scream a lot, obviously, with Scream 6 coming out, and I'm kind of like, well, I kind of like that one more than Halloween. And then I just rewatched The Lost Boys yesterday, and I was like, but that's fun, and that might be better than Halloween. I guess I got multiple number 1s because I love them all, and I don't want to just have one. Maybe we should not have one.
To choose. Yeah.
See, and Halloween, again, I think that the original Halloween '78 is a snooze fest. I think it's boring.
No, it's not.
But again, this is because of how I grew up. I grew up with, I had never watched Halloween until later in life. I grew up with Jason, Freddy, Chucky, all these people that are super crazy and inventive with their kills. And then I watched the first Halloween. It's just this guy walking around.
But that's what makes him scary.
As an adult, I've said that Michael Myers is the scariest villain.
Because he's a human man that he's just killing for no reason.
Yes.
It's not because he was drowned in a lake, getting revenge. It's because he's just fucking evil.
He's evil. He has the devil's eyes. And I think he is the scariest villain now that I'm an adult, because like you said, he could be your neighbor.
Yeah.
Yep.
That just snapped and went crazy. But as a young man that was watching these films, you watch Jason shooting people with a harpoon gun. You watch Freddy dragging someone up a wall or sucking them into a waterbed. And then you watch Michael stab him. And then
stab them on the wall.
Oh, I forgot he did this too.
That's his signature. That's his signature.
It was boring to me.
Can we kick him out of this? You need to leave.
But what I was going to say, I was going to give it a compliment.
Okay, let's hear it.
This
anybody
one.
that's making a slasher, that's what they go off of. They don't go off of Psycho. They don't go off of Black Christmas. They don't go off these movies that came before it. When you want to make a slasher film, the prototype is Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to make sure your final girl and your villain have the same amount of riz, as the kids like to say, charisma. You got to make sure that they're both likable, even though I'm talking about a serial killer. They got to have that image that you love, that you root for them in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And Halloween made that. You look at Black Christmas '74, which I feel, in my opinion, is a superior film to Halloween. But you don't get much of your villain. Billy is just on the phone. You never see. No, you don't see him. You see his eyeball.
You see his eyeball. Well,
that's it.
You see him in like the
That's what I mean. It's just his eye. And that's where I think that movie it fails, because you don't get the same amount of respect for your villain as you do your heroine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you started to get you wouldn't have, the OG Freddy would not be the same without Nancy. Like these movies started to realize we have to have a final girl that is going to help us here. Look at Nev, what Sydney did for Scream.
Yeah, you need a badass final girl. You can't have, freaking.
I mean, they even with Night of the Living Dead 1990, they rectified how shitty of a final girl Barbara was.
That's what I'm saying. Barbara was horrible final girl.
That's if you watch Night of the Living Dead 1968, and I love 68. I love that movie. Barbara is useless.
She really is
in that movie. And then you watch 1990, Tom Savini's, and Barbara's a badass. Patricia Tallman is a badass in that film, and I love that's one of my favorite remakes of all time, and it's one of the ones that I think may be better than the original.
Just because of the final girl.
The only the only thing that I like more about the original is the ending. I don't like the fact that Ben turns into a zombie. And you want to talk about someone that could do. Listen, not only did Patricia Tallman come in, I know I'm getting really emotional about this, but not only did Patricia Tallman come in and killed as Barbara, Tony Todd came in.
Tony Todd killed it with everything.
Yeah. But look at how well Dwayne did as Ben, and look at how good Tony did as Ben. You know what I mean? Like he comes in and he's just like, you're not like, look at Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy Krueger. People are like, Robert Englund's my Freddy. No one I think would be like, oh, Dwayne's my Ben, and shit on Tony Todd. They'd be like, Tony did a really good job too. Yeah. Like for two people to come in the same remake and pay not only homage to the people that they're portraying, but making it their own at the same time.
That's exactly that's the perfect way to do it.
That's exactly how you do a remake.
Yes.
Exactly how you do a remake. And I think Night of the Living Dead 1990 is one of the best remakes ever. It's so good.
For sure.
That's what I'm doing on the podcast side of the channel actually right now. A remake tournament, and the Night of the Living Dead remake was one of the highest seeds in the tournament because the Rotten Tomatoes scores for the critics and for the audience were so high. And I'm actually going to be rewatching it, I think, probably this week. So I'm looking forward to re-diving into that one because I've only ever heard good things. I don't hear anybody shitting on that one. So
I love it, man. Like I said, the only thing I don't like is the ending. But I'm one of those people that like you have to.
Are so sad and dark. Yeah.
I'm one of those people that I am very critical of endings. Very critical. I think there's, except for the remake, and this is a discussion we just had last night. Nightmare on Elm Street, every single one of those films, every single one, except the remake, the ending is trash. Complete and utter trash. In the part one, you got the mom and the blow up doll and the Freddy car. Part two, you got the bus thing at the end, I think. Part three, how does Freddy die? Like he gets like the Bible read to him or some shit. Part four, he gets torn apart by the mirrors when he's looking in the mirror. Like there's not a good, and then you got the remake. It doesn't look the greatest because it's the CGI. But when Freddy comes through that mirror and pulls the mom back into it, and like what you were just talking about, one of the best deaths in any Freddy movie. When that kid in the diner
decapitates him. It's so yes, man. I can't wait. Haunted Hippie Kylie, who's a good friend of ours. We recorded an In Defense Of episode last night on the I'll say Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Holy crap! On the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Yeah. And we why we think this movie is extremely underrated and why people should give it another chance. The score is the lowest we've done so far.
When it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, the lowest movie we've done so far. We've done Jason Goes to Hell. We've done Child's Play 3. We've done Seed of Chucky. And now we've done Nightmare on Elm Street, the reboot. And coming up, I'm not going to say the guest.
Honestly, we were in the majority, before we rewatched it like a year or so ago. We
hated it.
Both hated it.
But then we rewatched it for our Versus episode
and I
of
think
the original
now
versus
that
the remake.
We're older, we see he didn't try to be Robert Englund.
No,
that's
not at all.
The biggest thing, and he made it his own. So
I'll go as far as to say this, and I'm going to take something I said directly from our episode that gets me a lot of shit, and I will stand by this and I'll defend it. If anybody want to talk to me, you DM me. I'll give you a full. Jackie Earle Haley. Yeah, it's about to just start blowing up. Yeah. Jackie Earle Haley played Freddy Krueger better than Robert Englund. And the reason I say that is nobody hates Robert Englund as Freddy. No. Nobody.
Nobody.
Everybody loves the child killer.
He's got the riz.
He's got that riz.
Yeah.
Everybody hates Jackie Earle Haley
because his one-liners aren't even funny. They're just dark.
They're dark.
And like, oh, they just make you cringe, you know. And you hate the guy. Like you want him to die, but you know Robert Englund.
And you're supposed
like,
to.
You're like, oh, he's funny.
But
keep this guy around. Kill more kids.
Yeah, get those kids.
Yeah,
fuck them kids, Robert. But with Jackie Earle Haley, like I asked people, I'm like, what do you hate about the remake? I hate Freddy. You hate the child molester.
Yeah.
Okay, so they did what they were supposed to do, is what you're telling me. You know, like you're not supposed to like him. Like that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what Jackie Earle Haley did. You know, he's like, I'm a child molester.
I'm a bad guy.
I'm a rapist.
But I think he knew, like he was never.
And that's what he did. He was never going to live up to Robert Englund.
Never.
Nobody would.
No.
But again, he did what Robert Englund couldn't do.
Yeah.
And that's make you hate the child killer. You know, Robert Englund is so amazing that you can't hate him. You love him. You're like, this guy's great. You know, I'm sure those kids, you know, put gum under the desks or, you know, one of them probably put a turd in the urinal. You know, they probably had it coming.
He was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Flashing these kids.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Mr. England's side in this situation. Kruger, you get those kids. You know, but with Jackie Earle Haley, you were like, there's no excuse for you, sir.
Yeah.
You're a bastard.
You son of a bitch.
It just makes you cringe every time he talks.
When he gets in the bed and he's like, what do you want to play now? And she's like, fuck you. And he's like,
we already
it just makes
just like,
you
God, I hate you so much.
I like Jackie Earle Haley. I thought he was good.
He played the role phenomenal.
He did.
So good.
I think my only real complaint is the way they tried to make him look. You know, they tried to make him look like the burnt, like he just was burnt, like the wet. I don't know. I didn't like that.
I wish they would have made him innocent. I wish they would have went with, you know, that storyline in the remake where they were like, you killed an innocent guy. I wish he would have been innocent. And that's the reason he comes back now.
Yeah.
You know, because that's my biggest complaint about the remake is they didn't take any chances.
No,
I mean they did. They said that that was the way they were going to go, and then they didn't.
Yeah,
and
they did. I wish that they would have taken more chances in that. I wish that they would have, you know, actually done. Like there were so many scenes in this that they just copy and pasted from the first one and use CGI instead of practical effects. It just looks like shit.
Terrible.
You know, like that's why I love the Child's Play remake. I love the Evil Dead 2013 because they take that original idea, but they completely make it their own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've already seen the original. I don't need to see it modernized. You know,
True.
Right.
Just like it blows my mind when people say they hate Vince Vaughn's Psycho. Like I hate that movie. I'm like, it's shot for shot.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. What do you hate? If you say I don't like Vince Vaughn's portrayal of Norman Bates, I get what you're saying, but if you're saying you hate the movie,
it's the same thing.
I'm not much of a big fan of the original either, because it's exactly shot for shot. And again, the same thing with Robert and Jackie. Nobody's gonna fill the shoes of Anthony Perkins. Nobody.
Right.
But it's funny because Vince Vaughn, fantastic comedic actor.
Yes.
But the first two movies I ever saw him in were Psycho and Domestic Disturbance, where he was the evil stepdad opposite John Travolta. Then I saw him in like Old School, and I'm like, this guy's he's a villain in movies. What's he doing in this movie? You know, now, you know, he dipped back into horror with Freaky, which was great.
But I mean, he still had that comedic.
It was definitely comedic.
Yeah.
But the movie, did you see Freaky?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Well, what'd you think of it?
I didn't like it that much, but
really,
I didn't. But it had nothing to do with Vince Vaughn. I pretty much like Vince Vaughn doing anything. So. But I just didn't get into it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but I just didn't like it that much.
I laughed a lot throughout that movie.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
It kept me entertained.
Well, let's be non-spoiler. Have you seen Renfield yet?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that one.
We can't spoil it. I was laughing out loud in the theater more than once. And again, I'm not going to spoil anything. They overuse CGI in this movie in the best way.
And Nicolas Cage just kills.
Oh my god, he's so good.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
But the CGI in the movie is like, I love when CGI goes over the top because the movie is over the top. Now, if you got like a serious horror movie and then you put in a bunch of CGI blood, like it looks really bad.
Yeah.
But in a movie like this where they're doing over the top action sequences, and it's just like so goofy and they're using the CG, it looked awesome. Like I really thought it was great the way they did it.
Yeah.
So I hope that please let me know after you watch it what you think. I would love to have your opinion on it.
I haven't really heard anybody say they didn't like that movie. Most people had a really good time with it.
Yeah, it's a good time for sure.
To me, that means that when I see it, I'm gonna be like, nah, it was fine. I'm usually total opposite of most people. I'm very, very picky when it comes to movies. Everybody knows that. I try not to be. I try to give stuff a fair shake, but I'm kind of like set in my ways. And if it's not kind of the way I want it to be, I'm not gonna like it. But I think this being Renfield and being fun and Nicolas Cage in it, which is I love Nick. Who doesn't love Nicolas Cage?
Right.
I think this will be a movie I'd have a good time with. But like Megan, like everybody loved Megan, and they were like, "You're gonna like this movie." And I watched it, and I was like, "I just go back and watch Child's Play 2019. I don't need to watch this. I don't care about this." Right. And I know it has its fans, and that's cool. Everything should, like you said earlier, everything should have its fans. People should not hate everything, but it's just not for me, and I'll leave that for them. And I'll go over to Child's Play 2019, which a lot of people hate that movie as well.
Yeah,
we love that movie.
I love that
me
movie.
too.
Yeah, like literally, he wouldn't even go see it with me in the theater when it first came out because he was boycotting it. So me and my son went and seen it, and I was like, "Hear me out, like just please, just give it a chance." And he did, and he liked it.
I boycotted it so hard because of Don Mancini.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna check it out. You know, I'm just gonna do it. And I watched it, and I was like, you know what, and again, there's something that Ashley said that I completely 100% agree with. This movie would have been 10 times more successful if it was called Buddy from the world of Child's Play.
I agree.
You know, if they would have done that so that way, and then maybe made the doll look a little different so it didn't look like a Chucky doll, they could have, because they wrote themselves in a corner anyway, because that studio, they own the rights to Child's Play. They didn't own the rights to Child's Play 2. So if you had, you know, if it would have been super successful, you could have made a sequel, Buddy Bear, from the world of Child's Play. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you could have continued the franchise on. Like, just little twerks. And that's what Don Mancini asked them to do. You know, like, just, you know, if you want to use the Child's Play thing, that's fine. But please don't use Chucky.
Right.
You know, like, that's my love. That's my legacy. Yep. You know, and so that's why I was boycotting against it. I was like, you know, Don is just, like, so advantageous and strong in his, please don't use my Chucky character. And they did anyway. Then they, like, offered him a producer's credit just to, like, appease him. Like,
no,
yeah, he's like, no,
I want no part of this.
Yeah, but I can't lie. I like the movie.
It's
fun.
Yeah, the characters are great in it. I love
very lovable characters.
I love them.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yes, Aubrey Plaza. I love.
She's
her.
good.
She is.
I love Detective Mike in this movie.
Yeah, he's
and Detective Mike's mama. She's great.
They're awesome.
They're good. I like the group of kids. I like this Andy more than the original Andy, but that's probably because this one's a little more relatable since he's a little older than the one in the original. So I definitely prefer Andy. I prefer I like the friend group dynamic they have. It's fucking hilarious when they're watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and it's not even going in order of how the movie goes. It's I love it. It's fucking hilarious. It's a good movie. I like it. I don't understand the hate. The kills are great. Very gory. I really appreciate that.
Man. The Jack Black janitor.
Oh,
such a good kill.
Yeah.
I thought it was Jack Black. Like, I was arguing with Ashley. She was like, Ken, no, it's not. I was like, that's totally Jack Black. All I see is peaches. Come on, it's Jack Black. Let's go. It definitely wasn't. I was definitely wrong.
No, it's not. It was a good try.
I watch these credits, young lady.
And then it comes up and his name isn't there, and then you just turn to the side.
No, I have to do it fast. Get on IMDb. Yeah, mixed up my letters.
That's the best meme ever, man. You know the meme that has Shane from The Walking Dead going, "Who is that?" And he's running. And we've seen one that was like, when you're so ADD and you see an actor in a movie, so you got to go to IMDb right away to see what else they've been in. Who is that?
Every time.
I always feel like I have to do that to prove you wrong.
She does a lot.
Like, I'm like, no, that's not who it is. Or I'll be like, yes, that's who it is.
All the time.
I'm just going to pull this up. Oh, see, I was right.
Women are always right, no matter what. So you just go with it.
Exactly.
Gotta go with it. But one more thing before I let you guys go. I want to know from each of you what's an underappreciated or underrated movie that you think that every horror fan should watch?
I've got like 6.
Do you? Go ahead. You go first.
I'm not going to go with The Dark and the Wicked, which is what I always do. I'm actually going to go with The Exorcist 3. I think The Exorcist 3 is the best movie in that franchise. I think The Exorcist is probably scarier.
Mm-hmm.
But The Exorcist 3 is a better made film. Brad Dourif as the Gemini Killer is just fantastic. It's such... George C. Scott as the main protagonist is fantastic. It picks up right after the events of The Exorcist. And it's a supernatural slasher crime drama. It's got a little bit of everything in it. And it has the best jump scare of any movie I've ever seen. I did not, it's just the best jump scare. And I didn't watch this movie until maybe 10 years ago. Just because I hated The Exorcist 2 so much.
Yeah.
That's The Exorcist 2 is, I feel like, the worst movie of all time. So I never watched The Exorcist 3. And then I finally watched it, and then I was like, man, now I hate The Exorcist 2 even more. Because it made me miss out on the greatness that is The Exorcist 3. So if I'm going to go with one, The Dark and the Wicked is a newer film. That's the scariest film I've ever seen. The absolute scariest film I've ever seen is The Dark and the Wicked, which is on Shudder. If you guys have Shudder, which you should.
Yeah, you should.
But yeah, I'm going to stick with The Exorcist 3 for this one.
I'm going to go with Poltergeist 3. I think. Yeah. I feel like so many people hated that movie because of how it ended, and but there's a lot of backstory to it, and it's actually the one that I seen most as a kid, and I just have this like really, I don't know, I love that movie. It's my actual number one in the franchise.
Me too.
And yeah, there's so many people that just talk, they hate that movie, and I feel bad because the little girl she was going through, she had they thought she had, was it IBS? They thought she had, and they were giving her all that steroids, and her face was all blown up, and then she ended up losing her life at a very young age. And so the ending,
she had a bowel obstruction.
Yeah, wow. They didn't even want to finish the movie because this little girl just lost her life, but the studio was like, no, you're gonna finish it. So they made a crappy ending instead of maybe honoring her with a great ending. The ending kind of falls short.
None of them wanted to be there anymore.
Yeah, which I can understand.
I mean, she died during filming. A 12-year-old girl lost her life during the filming. Heather O'Rourke, who plays Carol Ann.
So I can understand why they did it the way they did.
They didn't even want to be on set. They're like, we're on set, and they're crying in between takes because Heather's gone.
Yeah.
And, everybody was done.
They have this double of her,
a body double come in for the ending.
Wow. Like that had to have been, so heart-wrenching for all of them to see this little girl that kind of, looks like the other one.
If you guys watch the Poltergeist 3 again,
where she's just holding
just holding a body double. You don't see her face at all. But they had to do that because Heather had passed. And like the directors, the producers, the actors, none of them wanted to finish.
No.
They were like, this film's done. It's over. And the studio was like, yeah, we've already spent this money.
Yeah.
You're going to finish it.
But it's still it's creepy. And the way they use the mirrors in the movie.
Yeah. It's the scariest one.
I think so too.
If you guys get a chance, we were just talking about Shudder. They have a series on there called Cursed Films.
I heard of that.
Where they talk about movies and behind the scenes of what happened on sets of those movies. And they have an episode on Poltergeist. And the director in there even talks about how it's emotional, man. Like he talks about, this 12-year-old girl lost her life, and what we should have done instead of putting a title card at the end of the film that said her name, we should have done something more to honor her legacy.
Right.
He's like, but at the time we were just so heartbroken that we couldn't bring ourselves to even be on set, let alone to write a new ending that didn't involve Heather.
Yeah.
Because this franchise was supposed to continue. Poltergeist was supposed to be an ongoing franchise. But obviously with the death of Heather, no one wanted to do it again. That was it. And then
you get the remake, the Poltergeist remake, which I know we watched it in the theater, but like I didn't remember it wasn't very memorable at all.
What I loved about that movie is the little girl, they renamed her. They did not name her Carol Ann.
That's awesome.
Because there was only one Carol Ann.
Right.
Yeah.
And even though this movie's being remade, they had the decency
to change
rename the characters because Heather O'Rourke was Carol Ann. Period.
Right.
That was something I was very nervous about. I felt like that would have been so distasteful going into that film.
Yeah.
A little girl. There's things in this world that are bigger than movies and horror, and that's a young lady's life. 12 years old. You haven't even done shit yet.
Right.
You haven't done a fucking thing yet on this planet. And yet, at 12 years old, she's cemented in history as one of the brightest stars in the Poltergeist films. But in her personal life, she didn't get to do anything. She didn't live life yet. And
it's sad.
Yeah, Poltergeist 3. What a great! I'm giving it up to you. What a great choice.
Thanks.
Because it's so scary, and you had that ending, which obviously it sucks. The ending sucks, but
it does.
Man, that doesn't take away from how great the rest of the movie is. And a little girl lost her life. Like I know that's no excuse, but I wouldn't have wanted to finish the film either.
No.
At that point, what the fuck does this movie mean?
Yeah, that's why I don't blame them for just wanting to get it done with.
That's just human decency.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine saying, I don't give a shit. I already spent money on this. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
2 good picks that I've never seen either one of them. So.
Oh, man. You got to watch them both.
Yes.
I'm telling you, with both of them, I think that The Exorcist 3 is the best in the Exorcist franchise. I think Poltergeist 3 is the scariest in the Poltergeist franchise.
Yes.
It all takes place in a high rise, and
and they use mirrors.
And Reverend Cain is so scary in that movie.
I honestly just watched Poltergeist, the first one, like for the first time, like probably a couple months ago, and I'm like the only person I know that doesn't like it. I didn't know. It was just boring for me. I guess maybe I caught it too late. I didn't get like any of the nostalgia. I didn't get the good feels watching it growing up. So I was just like, I don't want to watch this movie. And then The Exorcist, obviously it's a classic, but it's not a movie that I want to go. I'm going to watch The Exorcist today. It's just not my kind of thing. You guys are probably.
I think The Exorcist 3 picks up where The Exorcist leaves off like 10 years later, but it's not like The Exorcist.
Yeah,
like they are two complete. Like this is more of a slasher.
It is more of a slasher.
It's completely different than what The Exorcist is. And Poltergeist, and I get what you're saying because we did our franchise ranking. Mine from least to favorite was the remake, the OG, Poltergeist 2, Poltergeist 3.
Well,
I felt that franchise got better as it went.
The kids in the OG, they weren't the greatest actors. They're really young, and like the brother, it looked like he was smiling the entire time. I don't know, but yeah. And the first one isn't my favorite.
No, I think 3 has always been, and I think it's the scariest.
Yeah,
Exorcist 3, Poltergeist 3 are 2 films that I think that you really should,
just check out. Don't say he's gonna like them.
No, that's what I'm saying. I really think you should check out.
I probably won't, but that's the problem.
Give him a chance.
That's the problem. I don't want people to think that I'm just like shitting on every movie. I only have a select few movies that I really care about, and I just keep rewatching the same damn ones. I know there's a whole wide world out there, but I'm a slasher guy, and that's kind of just what I want to watch. And obviously, being a dad, having kids, your time's very limited, and a lot of people don't get that. You guys obviously do, but a lot of people don't. So I can't just, go out of my way to watch this movie over here that I really don't want to, but you guys are saying that I should, when I could go back over here and rewatch Halloween 4 for the 56th time and have a good time every time. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Poor Ted Hollister.
I know. He didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't.
He just wanted to piss in the bushes, man.
He's taking a piss, and then they shoot him.
Right.
And oh, wait, never mind. They all die, so never mind. There was repercussions. Michael killed them all, so never mind.
He did. He got him.
See, that's why Michael was so pissed in part 4. He was like, you killed Ted Hollister, and all he was trying to do was take a piss. Yeah. At least I had a reason to try to kill my dumb sister. Now you're all done.
Yeah. Last thing before we go. Halloween ends. You guys like it or hate it?
Neither. It's more like mid ground for me. Like I didn't hate it. I did, however, I didn't feel like I got the closure as Halloween being my favorite franchise, and I really wanted the Laurie Michael story, and I feel like I didn't get that. So I feel like as a fan, like I didn't get the closure that I wanted.
I like the movie. I think it had the worst marketing of any movie I've ever seen, except for maybe Jennifer's Body. If you promise me the end of a 40-year legacy, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Corey Cunningham getting beat up by band geeks. I think if you would have introduced Corey earlier,
my whole thing is, why is
18
Michael
or Kills
imprinting on people?
Yeah,
like,
now Michael's imprinting on people. I think that it was a very risky maneuver to have this. If this would have been a standalone Halloween film, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. As the third part of a trilogy, it didn't fit that trilogy for me. But again, I think it's a very well made film. I love the Christine influence. I would go as far as to say I would love this movie if it had better marketing and it was a standalone. It wasn't the third part of a trilogy. So
I totally get it. And then all the stuff I just said makes me seem like a complete ass because I have that number 2 in the franchise because I love it so much, which makes no fucking sense. I don't know what it is. I walked in, I walked out. I said, I loved it. My wife was like, I was like, what'd you think? She's like, I thought it was dumb. I was like, well, fuck you. And that's fine.
I think it has the best opening, and I'm even including 78. I think the opening to this film is better than that one even. With the kid getting killed.
It is creepy.
I was so excited when that happened. I was like, this movie
fucking hit.
I thought like that's what I thought was gonna happen. Like it was gonna be balls to the wall, but then I don't know.
I was kind of hoping Karen was gonna come back and she wasn't really dead.
Yeah, me too. I think everybody did.
That was a big part for me. Judy Greer
is
she was the best part of 18 and Kills for me. I thought her character.
She was a good part, but
I love in 18. I'm telling you, like our theater in Halloween 2018, when she did that, I can't do it.
Oh,
gotcha.
Yes.
And
I
she
love
shot
that
him.
part.
The whole theater erupted at that moment, man. It was so good.
18 is my favorite in that trilogy.
Me too. But I like in Kills, when you want your mask? Come and get it. Like, I love that moment in Halloween Kills.
It's good.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't. When Halloween Ends first came out, I was so anti Halloween Ends. But now that I've taken time, and it wasn't even because of the movie, it was just because it was like Jennifer's Body. Like I never went and seen Jennifer's Body because the way it was marketed. It was marketed as, like a sleazy type thing.
Yeah.
Watching it, like, this movie's great. This is a good movie.
It's like Megan Fox, Jennifer's Body, and like that, she was the cover of it, and but
it was so much more than what the marketing made it out to be. And Halloween Ends was the same thing. Like I went in, and I'm not a Halloween purist. So it's not like I was like, I need 28.7 seconds of Michael screen time. Like, it was nothing like that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see an epic battle between Laurie and Michael. And I just feel like Ashley, I was kind of let down on that.
Robbed you a little bit.
You're waiting 40 years to see this conclusion. And it's like, what, the last 14 minutes of the film is Laurie and Michael together. I don't like Jamie Lee Curtis in this film. I think that she's just okay, let me rephrase that. I don't like Laurie in this film. Jamie Lee is Jamie Lee. But Laurie, to me, even watch Halloween 2018 and then watch Halloween Ends, and she's like defeated now.
Yeah.
And people in town hate her. Like you're Michael Myers killed my sister because of you. It's like, wait, what?
I didn't do it.
Yeah, Michael killed your sister because of Michael.
Right.
So there was questionable decisions in it, but like I said, I if it would have been marketed different, or if it would have been a standalone like Halloween 3, like I get why people would shit on Halloween 3 back in the day, because it was such a difference in Halloween 1 and 2, and you're expecting Michael and you don't get him. And
I was very disappointed when I first watched that too.
Right. So I get why people would be, that's how I was when I first seen it. I was so bummed. But the more it soaked in, the more I was like, it's really, really not that bad of a movie. It's just a really, really bad end of a trilogy.
Yeah.
I get it. 100%. Because you're expecting, the advertisements made it seem like it was going to be Laurie versus Michael for an hour and 45 minutes.
And that's what I wanted.
15.
I wanted those two to go. And I love Corey Cunningham's character. I love the transformation. Like he's total Archie Cunningham from Christine. Like the transformation he makes throughout the film. From getting beat up by band geeks to killing everybody. Like I thought Corey was a great addition, but if you want me to love this character, he should have been at least a minor part of 18 or Kills or something like that. That way I already have that bond with him when we get into this film.
Yeah.
I agree. It's fair. That is totally fair. At least you didn't shit all over it. I appreciate that. I mean, there's definitely good aspects like of maybe not every movie, but most movies. There's some good aspects too. There's definitely some good aspects to Halloween Ends for sure. Soundtrack is badass. Corey is a great character that you fall in love with and you didn't expect to. Missed a little, like you said, maybe missing Karen a little bit in there, I think. Just still a good time. And I appreciate the honesty from everybody, one way or the other, for sure. Makes for good debate, good conversation. So
our buddy T. Parker, that's one of his favorites in the franchise.
It's
just like you.
number one,
You know, like he absolutely loved that movie. And it was just like, you know, to each their own. I'm really, really happy you like it. Like I said off the top, like if somebody's making art, I genuinely hope that someone loves it.
likes it.
Even if I don't, I hope there's an audience out there for it. And maybe my feelings weren't hurt as bad because I'm not a huge, like I said, a Halloween purist. You know, like all I want to do when I watch a movie is be entertained. Like that's all I want. And the movie did that. I was entertained throughout the movie. I was let down by what I thought I was going to get in regards to what I got. But I feel like just like Halloween 3, just like Jason Goes to Hell, this movie will eventually get a cult following.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And people will absolutely adore it.
I agree with that.
I agree. But I think that is going to wrap up this little discussion. And the longest one of the 3 I've done so far, by the way, by 20 plus minutes. So good for you guys. Easy to talk to, just like the last time we did a video together. So I really appreciate you guys coming on, spending some of your Sunday with me. Definitely look forward to collabing with you guys again in the future, which I'm sure we probably will. Next month's episode is going to be Nick from the Lost River Drive-In, which, I mean, he's been on here a bunch of times, so it isn't like it's going to be nothing crazy, but he's coming back on. We're going to hang out, probably talk Halloween, because that's all me and him ever do. So. But you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I appreciate you guys once again coming on. It means a lot to me. And
absolutely,
I will see you guys in the next video. If you're watching after the fact, go check these guys out. These guys are awesome. The link is in the description below. Show them some love because they deserve it. And I love you guys. I'll see you. I got to stream Tuesday night and Wednesday night. So I'll be back very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and peace out, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.